and career opportunities. My name is Ray Ha, and I'm a recruiter at Employee Services Agency of the County of Santa Clara. This live event will be also recorded on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube platforms. So people who are not able to make it at this time can actually watch it at a later time. While we introducing about our department, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop it in the chat. We will be going over a Q&A section at the end of our conversation. So we definitely welcome open questions. So who we probably have here today are Darren Tan, our Deputy Director of Administrative Services, Suzanne Chiu, Senior Mental Health Program Specialist, and Grace Gonzalez, our Program Manager at Secure Youth Treatment Facility. So, Darren, will you please introduce yourself and the team?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Ray. Hi, everyone. Thank you to all those who have joined us. I'm extremely excited to be here with all of you today, and I hope that what all of you get out of this is just more familiarity about the critical and just incredible services that our department provides, but also to familiarize yourself with some of the team here, and also all the opportunities that we have available for those that may be interested in either entering into this career field or transitioning into this career field. It's definitely one that I have an extreme passion for, just because of the necessity of our services, especially now during the pandemic. There's been so many, challenges that I think all of us have had to kind of navigate, right? Not only in our professional and educational careers, but also outside of that with our families, and this isolation that we had for the past 2 years, and still going through it. And so there's been a huge reliance on just the different types of support systems that behavioral health services provides. And so I hope that all of you will be able to kind of get a better sense of that and our passion and our commitment. And so before I introduce myself and talk a little bit about the department, I do want to introduce a couple of our stellar managers here. First, I would like to introduce Grace Gonzalez, and just to give a little bit of history of Grace. She is a bilingual licensed clinical social worker and currently now a program manager for a new program we have over at Juvenile Hall. It's called the Secure Youth Treatment Facility. Grace graduated from San Jose State University with a bachelor's in sociology, with an emphasis in criminology, and had a minor in Chicano studies. She then went on to earn a master's degree in social work, also from San Jose State University, and launched her career at Gardner Family Corporation under the dual diagnosis department, for about 7 years up until 2014. During her time at Gardner, she worked in several programs, including aftercare, Assembly Bill 109, Parolee Reentry Court Program, full service partnership with our criminal justice program, and CalWorks. She joined Santa Clara County in 2014, and has worked in various departments, including the Department of Family and Children's Services, in-home support services, and now, fortunately, with us here at Behavioral Health Services. She currently is over at the Guadalupe Clinic at Juvenile Hall, fulfilling her dream and following her passion of working with our justice-involved youth. So I'd like to offer a warm welcome to Grace, and also an offer of appreciation for her, joining us here in presenting. Our next person that I'd like to introduce is Suzanne Chiu, who is she is a senior mental health program specialist, but she is actually currently acting as one of our division directors here in the department. So a little bit about Suzanne. Suzanne graduated with a bachelor's in psychology and minor in public policy and women's studies. She holds a finance certification from UC Berkeley, XT, and a master's of social work from San Jose State University. Before joining the county, Suzanne worked in the financial sector as a portfolio and equity manager and corporate services and investment relations manager. So As you can see, Suzanne made the leap over, right? And we are very fortunate and happy to have her make this leap because she's just such a stellar individual who works tremendously with our clients and our teams. So Suzanne changed careers into the public sector and worked for various departments such as our social services agency and Department of Family and Children's Services prior to joining here at Behavioral Health. Suzanne has a wide variety of experience as a licensed clinical social worker, lead for our outpatient team. She was a contract manager for our inpatient and residential services division. And outside of this current role that she's in, she is working as a senior mental health program manager for our peer services. Thank you, Suzanne, for joining us today. And so a little bit about myself. I'm going to try to keep it brief. My name's Darren, and myself, I've had almost 20 years now of public service experience, right? I think, it's kind of in my lifeblood. I come from, my father and grandfather had a military background. My mom worked for the city of San Jose for many years. And so public service has just been a passion of mine and a commitment of mine. And how I ended up here at Behavioral Health, overseeing administrative services. Prior to that, I joined the county in 2015. So it'll be about 7 years next week. And throughout my tenure here, I've worked in various departments, first the assessor's office and then the register of voters office. And then I joined Behavioral Health about 2.5 years ago here in this capacity. And so prior to that, I actually worked with the city of San Jose with our Parks and Recreation department and also our library system with the city of San Jose. So a lot of my work really focuses on providing support to the community in varying capacities. But for me personally, as I got more involved in administrative work, I realized that I found a more refined skill set for administrative support, right? And I decided to pursue that as a profession. And I have a bachelor's degree in business marketing, but I ended up having acquiring my master's in public administration once I realized that I was going to take the leap, jumping over from the community side over to the administrative side. And so I got my bachelor's at San Jose State and received my master's degree in public administration, focusing on organizational development with National University. So that's just a little bit about us. And, I thank you all for joining us today.
Awesome. Thank you, Darren, for your great introduction about yourself and the team. So you guys also mentioned about how great to work at Behavioral Health Services Department. Now let's elaborate on that. Let's chat more how it's like working in your area. So let me start with Suzanne. Why you enjoy working at your department?
Great, thank you, Ray, and welcome everyone. I personally, I just love working at behavioral health. I've worked in a variety of roles in the public sector, but I think behavioral health is definitely where my home is. In terms of working in an outpatient setting and seeing folks as they are getting treatment and as they're working on their wellness and their recovery is so rewarding. And then from our inpatient and residential division, it's really it's such a great experience to work with folks when they're in their most acute setting and then watch them continue to improve and go to a lower level of care. And then now I'm in the more on the prevention and engagement uh, part of the department, and it's just so rewarding to be able to engage with the community. We're out in the community all the time at events, at schools, at supermarkets, and just in the neighborhoods, like passing out information about behavioral health and really sharing our experience. So I think as we have all those one-to-one interactions, it really fills my soul in terms of getting that connection with folks and like hearing about how we can help them. So really love it.
Thanks, Suzanne. Now it comes to Grace. Would you please tell us a little bit about your career history and why you enjoy working at your department?
Yeah, thank you. So Dan mentioned a little bit about my background, my career history. And as you can tell, I've really been blessed with working with the most vulnerable populations. As we all know, being involved in the criminal justice system is not the easiest. It's not, that in itself can cause trauma. The complexity of the youth that we work with is just so rewarding to work with, because you, in a sense, and I'm speaking with where I'm at right now at juvenile hall, you have somewhat of a captive audience, right? And so they come in, with their histories and different trauma that they come in with. It's you have this unique opportunity to really work with them, stabilize them, but also provide the treatment and hopefully, kind of plant that seed in their head that change is possible and they don't have to live the same way that they came in, and eventually give them that hope. I think that's where I pride, or we pride ourselves in this division, is instilling that hope for the youth and their families, that it doesn't always have to be what they're used to. Maybe it's been generational, but really just being able to give a lending hand and plant that seed of change, I think is what really, motivates me and why I do this work. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. That's pretty good to know about your inspiring factors that attach you with the department. Um, Now let's take it off. If you or Darren or Suzanne or Grace, if one of you can talk about our current openings and what are you ideally looking for to join the team? Let's start
Sure.
with Darren.
Start off.
Mhm. Yes.
Suzanne, would you like to start off?
Okay, sure. Oh, sorry, I didn't hear. Yeah, so for our division, I for peer services, we're looking at a some program manager positions. We have an opening for like the navigator program, which will be launching July 27th. It's going to be part of our call center to help assist the community, where folks can call in and get information and resources and help in terms of getting connected to service teams. We also have another program manager position for our new gender clinic. And so that's very exciting. It's already been posted online. Additionally, for our division, we're really trying hard to recruit um, peers to work in either our self-help center and our office of family affairs, but most importantly our cultural community wellness program. This program specifically is to serve the underserved and unserved communities, and we have 8 different ethnic teams, so we're looking a lot of language coded candidates as well, but those are some of the openings that are available in our division.
Thanks, Suzanne. Grace?
Sure. So we have a variety of positions that we're currently recruiting for. We have a lot of opportunities, specifically in the division that I'm in under the Child and Youth and Families Division. We have our Cross Systems Initiatives Division. And specifically at our Guadalupe Clinic at Juvenile Hall, we are recruiting for clinicians that either for PSW, psychiatric social workers, or marriage and family therapists. And so we have several programs under our Guadalupe Clinic. We have our Secure Track Youth, and we have our CETA, which is our the court for the individualized treatment of adolescents. It's a co-occurring treatment court, and we also have our competency. Specifically, we're looking for clinicians in our Guadalupe Clinic who will be providing behavioral health services to adolescent and teen population. Some of the duties would include, doing assessments, providing individual and family therapy, crisis interventions, as well as collaboration with our different system partners, such as probation and the courts. We are recruiting, for bilingual. We're hoping for bilingual applicants. Those of you that speak Spanish or Vietnamese are highly encouraged to apply. And I don't know if we want to dive into some of the scheduling, but I can go ahead and just to give a little bit of information around that is the schedules do include some evenings, weekends, and on-call shifts. And then a plus on that is that differential pay may be offered to compensate for evening work hours as well as hazard pay because you would be working within a locked facility. And so it would be both facilities, the James Ranch and Juvenile Hall, operate 7 days a week.
Awesome. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I have one more.
Sure.
We're also we're in the process of interviewing for psychosocial occupational therapist, and that's for our secure youth treatment program. Those are we want OTs to help with the youth with their life skills, assist with daily activities, with their motor or sensory integration and regulation issues. So we're also hiring for that as well.
Thank you for sharing that, Grace. I know there are many talents out there. Would like to know more about a typical day like as a MFT or a PSW. MFT is a marriage family therapist, and PSW a psychiatric social worker. Could any of you talk about our MFT and PSW?
Sure. Gracie, I can start, and then if anyone else wants to chime in. So when I was working in an outpatient setting as a PSW, a large part of the day, we get referrals from the call center. So clinicians conduct psychosocial assessments. Their days are also filled with, scheduled like treatment plans. And of course, at times we do, many of our clinics are walk-in clinics, so you may have to deal with like clinic crisis intervention, but there's always a team to help support you. And then throughout that, you'll also have like depending on the clinic, supervision, which is to help support the team, and team meetings, and also like planning sessions for how like the clinic can work in collaboration with other clinics or other programs as well. So I remember as an outpatient clinician, I really enjoyed doing that. And for like inpatient PSWs, they also work on like treatment coordination and discharging and discharge planning. And then I just want to speak a little bit on the peers. For the peers, we have a wide variety of tasks and duties for them, depending on the program they're in. For a lot of our peer services, they work, either in their self-help center where, they're peer navigators helping clients as they come in to navigate the behavioral health system or public system. We have peers that are also that go out to the community to provide outreach and services and mental health trainings as well. And I also just want to add, we have like mobile crisis team and our AOA team that has just such a variety of different tasks along the spectrum.
Yeah, thank you for that, Suzanne. And I also did want to circle back, say, I see that there's been some questions about like mental health openings and others, and we're going to try to get to all your questions to the best that we can. And so in addition to the specific kind of positions that Grace and Suzanne highlighted, I do want to reiterate to this group that, our department is in this very unique situation where we are in a huge opportunity of growth. And so we have quite a large amount of vacancies in our department. We have over 150 vacancies that we're constantly, looking for interested and qualified candidates. And some of those vacancies do not require licensure. They are administrative positions as well. And even some programs that we offer do not require licensure. So I do encourage everyone to, which I'm sure Ray will kind of be sharing, the resource of where to identify these vacancies. But yeah, there's just quite an abundance of varying opportunities throughout our network that we're looking to hire for. And so Suzanne did mention that, we have a mobile crisis response team. There's a call center that we offer, which is basically the one-stop shop to help triage like services, right? And so, before, we move on to kind of the next question, I really wanted to kind of spotlight just because I hope that this will answer some, questions of curiosity some of you may have, right? With behavioral health services, it's such a the services we provide and support that we provide is such a wide breadth, right, of services, and it ranges from just uh, clients who are seeking help with or support with mental health treatment, but also suicide and crisis prevention. Those all like are aligned under the services that we provide. In addition to that, substance use treatment services is huge as well, and it's part of behavioral health. Also, when unfortunately, when incidents happen, out in the field, right, where law enforcement is contacted, there are oftentimes, mental health or substance use situations where we have mobile response teams that will go up to provide supplementary support and assessment with law enforcement. So there's just so many different opportunities that we have. But even outside of that, I oversee administrative services. We have administrative positions. If have a passion for this type of work but don't have the experience and um, want to provide administrative support because that's your specialty, we're hiring as well in our system, right? Administrative support. So there's just a lot of different opportunities for everyone to kind of look out for. Okay, so I wanted to make sure that we highlight that. I know that there have been some questions about telework opportunities. Because we are a service field and we work for our health and hospital agency, the majority of our positions do require in-person services, right? Because the clients that need treatment, like some treatment just cannot be provided like virtually. With that said, there are programs that do offer a hybrid type situation where there are some telework opportunities. We do have a small amount of clinical opportunities at our call center and maybe a couple other positions that are exclusively telework. And I believe there are some openings for that as well. But, just for the sake of transparency, yeah, because of the critical services that we provide that require in-person kind of one-on-one support, the majority of our services is in person, but there are some teleworking opportunities available as well.
Yes, it's great to hear about all of the great opportunities that you have at your department. So one of the questions that just came up, and I think it is very interesting to address. What are you looking for in a candidate when you receive an application for an interview, along with the basic minimum qualifications? What are some of the main things that you look for in someone to join your team? Um, Let me start with Suzanne. Do you have any insights?
Of course, like when what we're looking for when we're looking for someone to join our team, we're just
Yes.
really we're looking for folks that are very passionate. Um, this is a helping field, so for us, we're looking for the not only the clinical skills but also just a passion for helping people and wanting to improve behavioral health. As folks know, there's just so many things that are happening in the world today, and behavioral health is a constant topic, right? And I think like we're just really looking for folks that, and in my division at least, for that dedicated service that like they're willing to be there with the client. One of For us, it's really about wellness and recovery. Right? We encourage our beneficiaries to focus on their path to wellness and recovery. And so the employees that we're looking for is really for folks who are able to embody that message and also inspire our clients as well. And of course, working with them in multiple settings um, and just being open on all the different types of treatment and being able to collaborate with a lot of our public agencies, and help our client not just on a on a behavioral health front, right, but helping them as a whole person as well.
Thank you. That's always awesome to hear about great and fun things about work. So that this is also something I've noticed in the question box. From your roles and perspectives, are you typically looking for experienced licensed clinicians? Are you willing to take, or are you willing to take the ones who just got their associate license and train them and kind of help them grow with their positions? Um, can you answer that, Grace?
Yeah, absolutely. While we typically do look for experienced workers, licensed and unlicensed, we will provide the training. I think our division is dedicated to creating opportunities for development and enhancing competencies with the focus on growth oriented, relational and reflection or reflective opportunities. We look at all the different factors, and I think one of the main things that um, was said here too was about passion. While the experience is key, having that passion is really what will keep you going, right? It's very arduous work that we do, and but having that passion, that drive to help the youth and their families is something that we look for. So we definitely train. We do have opportunities for both licensed and unlicensed. One of the things that we are also looking within our behavioral health department is providing the co-occurring certification. Dan mentioned that briefly as well. So we do provide that. We want our staff equipped to be able to provide outstanding services for our clients.
Mm. And I just actually want to add to that. Thank you so much, Grace. I just want to share my own personal experience coming into behavioral health. I actually came from social services, and as Darren mentioned, my background is actually in finance prior to that. So I had no behavioral health service. I just knew that I wanted to help people, and when I was doing my MSW at the time, I came for an interview at the outpatient clinic, and they were fully understanding of the fact that I didn't have the job experience piece, but they still hired me on. And honestly, I think that that also shaped like my perspective on my hiring practice as well, right? It was really they saw the talent, they saw the passion, and they saw that because you can train people and experience is learned. So I do strongly still encourage folks like who may not have the experience, but come and definitely apply, talk to the hiring manager. As a system, I think we have a lot of programs such as like clinical supervision. We have reflective practice that we implement into our department to support staff, and also like clinical supervisors as well. So I think there's a lot of support in the behavioral health department for ASWs who are looking to get licensed, and a lot of different just opportunities for folks. So I just definitely want to share my experience and how like that helped open my career into behavioral health.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Suzanne. And so, just to piggyback on what Grace and shared, everyone, uh, we do have entry level, PSW, MFT positions, psychiatric social worker, and marriage and family therapist, one positions that do not require full licensure. It does require you to have your BBS registration number. So as you're going through the process, that is a qualifier. Okay, so you don't necessarily need to be fully licensed to start with us. But one of the things I really want to spotlight, and Ray, you might be able to talk a little bit more about it if our uh, viewers are interested, is that the county as a whole, like there are some great opportunities that we provide as an employer to allow for current employees to go to school. Right. There's tuition reimbursement. There's time off commitments that You know, we've had agreements with our labor partners because all of our positions are unionized, right? Where it allows for employees to be able to take, you know, some time out of their workday to complete any schooling. So for those of you that are looking for a career transition or to kind of get into the department in a non-licensed position, and then, you know, want to consider going back to school to get your license and things like that, there are different opportunities. There's also part-time opportunities like internships and we call it extra help work, which is not benefited positions, but they're part-time, where you would be able to get into a role, you know, in a clinical type setting, if you are going to school, right? And so when you do complete your your schooling and, you know, things like, you know, all the other requirements, then, and you're ready to kind of work full time, there is an ability for you to work within our department to help you navigate through that process.
Mm. And just to add to what Darren was mentioning, we also have such a great like intern department as well, right? That and then we also have our some of the work study programs just for the counties that you know I myself was a benefit of that to be able to work and go to school at the same time. So those are definitely things I think folks can look into as well, right? I mean, it's definitely like a hard economy to be able to just go to school full time. So I really appreciate that the county have these programs to support our employees.
Thank you for sharing, Darren and Suzanne. Yes, the county has a lot of great benefits in terms of tuition reimbursement, uh, like we call it like workforce education training program. So the Greater Bay Area Regional Partnership has developed a graduate tuition stipend opportunity. The County of Santa Clara, in collaboration with other counties in the region, has partnered with California Mental Health Services Authority and the California Department of Healthcare Access and Information to make stipends available to educational students in exchange for service obligations in a public mental health system. This component is especially valuable to expanding the knowledge and skills of non-licensed personnel through training and education opportunities. And the tuition stipend program is actually a financial incentive strategy that is designed to support individuals working in California public mental health system. The tuition stipends will be rewarded to the educational institutions while they are attending their educational program and will be expected to complete their 24-month service obligation as a direct service provider in the County of Santa Clara Public Health Services after their graduation. Through this program, the county's behavioral health services department seek to support qualified applicants who meet eligibility requirements. And I can talk a little bit about that on the benefits section. So that's always good to know about the department is always highly considering fresh edge graduates, associate, and journey level folks. As we all know about that these individuals are very energetic, passionate, eager, and hungry to learn all of the skills to succeed in their careers. So another question that just popped up on the chat, can you guys talk a little bit about the organization culture and staff development? Do you have a team building related event that kind of bring everyone together once in a while? Let me ask this question to Darren.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think what we're trying to do, you know, this year, a personal kind of priority that I had set for, you know, our department workforce is just engagement and also, um, you know, team building, right? And also like providing more opportunities to help alleviate, you know, anybody who's maybe suffering from burnout or low morale, things of that nature. I think, you know, again, for the sake of transparency, right? Like this is, I like to be completely honest and as candid as I can possibly be, but you know, I think just in the current climate, especially in this field, right? I think morale has been a challenge, not just for our department, but um, system wide, right? In this field, there's been such a reliance on our services that many of us, because we have such a huge commitment to providing like help and assistance. We want to help everyone, right? And sometimes it's really hard to do that and take a step back to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves, right? So me as being part of the leadership team here, I want to make sure that's acknowledged and we identify different ways and creative ways to do that. And so Suzanne did mention reflective practice. It's a program that we offered for our internal employees that really allows a time for employees to kind of debrief, decompress with a coach to talk about all the challenges that they've been dealing with in their work and even things outside of their work to help them cope, right? So that they can better provide support to our clients. Pivoting to another item, last a couple of months ago, we had like a doggy parents meetup on the weekend where we coordinated a meetup at the park for those who have a dog and just kind of like congregated together outside safely to kind of team build and working internally just to provide resources for our managers on tips on ways to spur engagement and team building, right? So team building activities, things like that. So it's definitely on the forefront of our minds, especially me, like working in administration. It's important because our employees are my customers, right? It's my team's customers. We need to make sure we're taking care of them. And so it's a huge point of emphasis for me just to make sure that we are doing the best that we can from a department level to provide resources to prepare our managers to offer these activities to our teams.
Thank you, Darren. It sounds like a very fun team setting to work for, especially if a lot of more fun to do with your teammates, colleagues. I think those are such needed activities that can actually check in with everyone and kind of reconnect like we used to before the pandemic. Given that we have been living in the pandemic for more than 2 years now, some of the staffs have worked continuously with passion and care. So it's very important to manage our staff mental health and make sure that everyone is on a great shape so that they can succeed in their careers. So now we have shared a lot about our department and opportunities. You may wonder how we can apply and where to apply. So let me talk quickly about the application process. Let me share my screen because we have prepared some of the QR codes that everyone can scan, and we will link them directly to the job opportunities that we have right now. Okay. So in terms of the hiring process, you would have to create an account on our website, sccjobs.org. Then you would go to open competitive opportunities. So we have created these QR codes that directly link you to all of our job opportunities at Behavioral Health Service Department. And you can apply to the corresponding level based on your completed hours or license. For example, if you possess an associate license, MFT, for example, you can apply for our MFT level 1. We are always hiring for that level. And if you're a full license MFT, then you can apply for MFT level 2. Once we receive your applications, our HR colleagues will review, and if you meet the minimum requirements, we will refer your name to the department for a job interview. So Suzanne or Grace, would you talk a little bit about the interview process? So from how you receive the list and what type of interview do you expect, like virtually, in person? We talk a little bit about that.
Sure, of course, I can start. So once we get the list from HR, where our office specialists or admin assistants will go ahead and contact um, the folks that reaches out to us, because in the email from HR they'll let you know that you need to contact the hiring manager within 3 days. So then from there, our admin folks will go ahead and schedule the interview. In terms of virtual or live, in-person interviews. I've actually done a mixture of both. Just it just depends either whether it's related to the setting or if it's how many applicants we have, and if we're in a search or not. For the self-help center and some of the clinics, I think they do the we do some of the interviews on site so that we can also show folks uh, the environment they'll be working in, if they're to make sure that that's a good fit for them, right? And then also we have our virtual interviews as well. And then from there, I just kind of also want to note, like, some interview practices. It's not just myself. It's always myself and the lead or a teammate, so that they'll also get a chance to meet the candidate as well. And the candidates are able to ask questions about, like, perhaps what they do in a normal day. So it's a very interactive process.
Thank you, Suzanne. So given the number of applications that we normally received, HR analysts are doing their best to get back to all applications in the timely manner. In terms of the application reviewing process, for those who don't seem to meet the employment standards, meaning minimum requirements, we normally send the candidate a notice approximately 7 days after the job posting closes, and we give the candidates 5 business days to provide additional information. So please do not get discouraged if you ever receive a reject notice, because we do not want you to feel that you are out of the pool. We might want you to clarify the hours or license that we cannot verify on the website. So we encourage that you would respond to our reject emails and provide as much information that could qualify you to the next rounds. So how to avoid getting rejected? So from my experience, in your application, it's very important to list all of the job history, education background, special projects, license, certifications, as HR will use the provided information to determine someone's qualifications. Also, we normally have supplementary questions on every job posting so that we can learn and possibly use the responses to differentiate the applications. A response of C resume or C above job experience will be deemed as incomplete applications, and you will be asked to provide additional information. So I would like to speak a little bit about PERS and pensions, as a lot of people here are either introduced by county employees, friends, or families, and to apply for county jobs because the benefits are exceptionally outstanding. The County Santa Clara, which include Behavioral Health Service Department, provides very generous benefits packages that take care of all our employees at the beginning of their careers or even after the retirement. We have robust and competitive health, dental, vision benefits. The county is also one of the few counties that runs its all health insurance plan, which is contribution free for all county employees. This plan will give you access to the county's All Valley Medical Center, Palo Alto Medical Foundation, and Stanford Hospital. In addition to generous vacation and sick hours, pay time off, the county also provides 13 paid holidays. Lastly, the county's generous employment benefits package continues even after an employee separates or retires from the county because we have CalPERS, also known as pension. For those who are not familiar what pension is, this is a regular stream of income that you will receive even after you're no longer working for life. And the size of the pension that you receive depends on the number of service years that you work. So the longer you stay with the county, the larger your pension will be. Another great benefit is having a tax advantage investment option through our Fidelity 457 plan. You might be familiar with 401k option. So contributing to this plan will lower your taxes while increases your investment portfolio. Once you retire from the county with at least 15 years of service and at age 50 or higher, you will get free health coverage for life. What are you waiting for? Those are just a quick overview of our benefits package. And if you're interested in learning more, please feel free to reach out to us at the end of the event, or send me a direct message through LinkedIn. So those are great portion of county benefits. And another thing that I want to touch base with all of you here is that the county is very highlights the work of diversity. So that diversity is something the county is really cares about. Diversity in our workforce is a county's commitment to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion within the organization through services of delivery. As stated in our policy, the county believes that the various perspectives generated from different backgrounds, abilities, professional experience, life experience are extremely critical to our success. So this is why the county is one of the leading public organizations that highlights the work of diversity, equity, and inclusion. So that's some of the things I want to share with our audience today. So we still have some time to go through the frequently asked question here. So Suzanne, you want to talk a little bit about any other opportunities as far as, for example, the program manager that you are hiring for?
Yes, of course. There's the program manager for the Navigator program and the program manager position for the gender clinic. And we're super excited about opening our gender clinic for the community. And then, as well as like many of the peer positions that we have, especially in our Filipino community, Vietnamese community, Spanish community, Native community as well. And while this doesn't necessarily apply for my division, I know that there was some questions about potentially other positions folks can apply for with a BA, and I just kind of want to touch like we don't just it's not just the clinical positions we have, right? We have our MFT and PSW. We also have, like Darren mentioned, a lot of support staff from like varying from like peer workers, community workers, rehab counselors, management analyst that like supports the department as well. And then I think there was a question about the Navigator program, so I just want to touch on that a little bit. We'll be launching a public awareness campaign, hopefully in the upcoming weeks, to educate the community about our Navigator program. It'll be option 4 in our call center phone number, and it'll be staffed by peers. And the hope is that it can really help alleviate our call center, not only the wait time and also being able to direct people to the appropriate resources and information that's in our county.
Yeah, thanks, Suzanne. And so, Suzanne and Grace, I'm seeing, first I want to appreciate everyone for your engagement and the questions. This is very exciting to see the interest. And it looks like a lot of the questions that are being asked revolve around like either career transition or moving into this department without having behavioral health experience. And Grace and Suzanne, I know you both came from social services, not technically having a behavioral health experience. So I don't know if you wanted to kind of share your specific story as to what you did to do this, and maybe that will be helpful for some of the viewers here.
Yeah, of course. So coming from social services department, it's you're, as a social worker, you're managing high acuity cases, with families who've possibly been children who've been removed from their families, and so it's a lot of mainly case management, but I think a lot of those skills are transferable. We have rehab counselor positions that you're able to apply for with just a bachelor, not just with a bachelor's degree. And so those are really, those are so important to the work that we do. A lot of that support that they bring to specifically at Guadalupe Clinic is vital to our everyday work. they're, I encourage you for the rehab counselor positions to apply. We are constantly looking for some. We don't have any current available positions at this time, but whenever it is out there, I would encourage you to do so. Again, those any other skills that you've obtained, whether it be in the behavioral health field or social services, or even management or any other kind of positions that you've held, is a lot of those skills are transferable. It's working with people day to day, and again, I just want to highlight that having a passion for working with people is key, and not everybody has that. And so if you do, and we can train you on some of those other skills, but having that passion is something that can't be taught. It comes from within, so we can definitely work with that. So I encourage you to apply.
Mhm. And I have a very similar story as well. I think part of it coming from social services and Department of Family and Children Services. So I think for example, in the chat, someone had mentioned they had like healthcare and public health experience. It's very transferable. I think it is a matter so for example, like caseload management, right? And that doesn't even you don't have to be a clinician to be able to to have some of that experience. So like I think when folks are kind of looking to hire, they're also looking at how one will manage like the stress or being able to handle a caseload, manage crisis situations. So I think in that sense, while it may your experience may not directly be related to behavioral health, like you may want to explore or think about like in the position and experience that you have, like have you dealt with situations where behavioral health has come up? Have you worked with behavioral health clients? I think there are many settings where, like for example, in public health or healthcare, where you may have a percentage of your time where you're dedicated to behavioral health clients. So you may want to mention that or consult with our HR department.
Yeah, thank you, Susanna. And I would like to just add, well, first I want to also, stress what Grace had mentioned, right? She conveyed it so eloquently and beautifully as far as the passion, right? I mean, I think for us, we are more than willing to commit the time to train and develop you if you have the passion for this work. It's not easy, but it's so important and it's so critical. We all know how important this work is, and this is one of the most vulnerable communities that we have here, right, in the region specifically. And so, the first thing we look for is someone who has a commitment to serve, right? A commitment to serve this clientele. I can tell you from my own experience, I do not have behavioral health experience previously, right? My skill set is really translatable for administration, right? So my benefit is I can go to a different department and do the same type of work, but I chose this department because of the work, right? And so there are opportunities administratively, like I mentioned previously, in addition to the clinical services we provide. So yes, I encourage all of you just to kind of look and, on the chat, I think our moderator had listed, like you can receive notifications for, our positions and openings. And I think you can filter out for behavioral health. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ray. I hope I'm not speaking out of turn here, but yeah, I mean, I think the first thing really is just kind of taking a look at all the vacancies we have. We currently have over 150, and they span all types of responsibilities, right? Whether you're licensed or not, whether you are credentialed, things like that. Like we have many positions available, so I highly encourage all of you who have an interest in this work to take a look at it. Okay.
I also just wanted to add quickly, with our peer mentors or community workers, if you have that lived experience, that is gold in itself, right? And so if you have that, whether you're personally, have that, or a family member that struggled with mental illness or substance use or both, that's super valuable. And so we are open to that as well. We want people who have that lived experience too.
Yeah, and for our peers that are working in our system, like I mean, a majority of them, and it's like it's such a beautiful team. Like it's a family here, and everyone shares their experience and inspires our clients to wellness and recovery, and just the piece like I just I love about our peers is that like we work with very underserved communities who like traditionally and historically don't necessarily have that trust in government services, and that's the bridge for us, right? And it's like, and that's also the same way we have like in our Navigator program, it's staffed by peers because it's it's going to be that bridge that helps connect our consumers to our services, that helps like acknowledge that this is a journey in their wellness and recovery, and there are with our peers, and they share their lived experience, they share like how they've like been able to navigate through our system and get the treatment that they need in order for folks to be able to thrive in the community. And then also we also have like even like we're peer intern programs where we try to um, create opportunities for folks to work in our department as well.
Thank you, Suzanne, for sharing that. I think it's a great. You mentioned about family relationship working together. I think it's very important because in order for a department to succeed, it's always encouraged to have a transparency and a great working relationship so that everyone knows their roles and the opportunities out there so that they can focus and shine themselves in a way. So I know that there's a lot of questions that pop up in the chat. If we have not addressed all of your concerns, please do not worry because we will review all of the questions. And you, if my colleague in the background can share the screen again for our contact information, I would love to share our um, email so that everyone can send your questions along the way, and then we will get back to you as soon as we get your concerns and questions. So here's the contact information. Our website for job opportunities are sccjobs.org, and you can always reach out to us at deisourcing@esa.sccgov.org. Since we have a few minutes left, and do you guys have any of you have anything else to share with our great audience today? I think it's been very informative and successful information event. So
Yeah. I think in the chat you see like folks that sometimes mention like they don't see the actual opportunities listed, but definitely the interest card. I think that's actually how I came about my first position here as well. It was just I clicked a bunch of physicians that would be interested in the for the county, and they'll send you a notification, and then once that job opens you apply. Just I think like one important tip is just to be patient with the HR process. It can take a bit long in comparison to the private sector, so hopefully that's helpful.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate the dialogue and the questions and the inquiries. And I hope that our time today really kind of gave you a little, better picture into the lives of our world here, and also a little bit of ourselves. As you can see, I mean, it's both Suzanne and Grace, and hopefully myself, like we're radiating our passion for this work, right, in our department. And so please know that, you know, if you are interested in working with us and doing this work, like please definitely check out the opportunities. There are also opportunities for like I said, part-time extra help work that's not permanent position. So if you're going to school or you have another job, or if you have your own private practice and you're interested in that type of work, that actually sometimes it's not posted, right? So I would encourage you to kind of reach out to the email address provided if you have an interest in that, and we can definitely look into see if there are possible ways to get you in a temporary or part-time status as you kind of go through your process of either getting qualified, meeting the minimum qualifications, or just doing work.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for your professional inputs and suggestion. I know we are running out of time, so I think this has been a great informative section to reflect on how our behavioral health services are functioning and delivering. That include our team's structures, career opportunities, and how much you love your job, and why it would be a great place to start your career as clinicians or even continue your career here as experienced workers who can inspire and bring the department to the next level. So huge thanks to Darren, Suzanne, Grace for joining us today. On the chat box, we included our career opportunity website. So feel free to check out our openings, connect with me on LinkedIn. I love to talk about opportunities, vacancy with all of you, where you would be a best fit for the department. So it's my honor to be here today, and we will possibly see you again in the next speaker series. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Thank
everyone.
you. Thank you for attending.
Thank you. Bye bye.